Some descending tracts. Anterior and cortico-nuclearis. All of them, these three tracts, start from brain cortex, from GN pyramidal cells of the bats. Do you remember from histology in fifth and sixth layers of brain cortex, in gyrus precentralis, we have GN pyramidal cells of the bats. And these cells has name pyramidal cells. That is why all of these three tracts, which start from brain cortex, has general name pyramidal tracts or pyramidal system. And all of them are voluntary. They conduct voluntary motor impulses. They start in brain cortex, that is first neuron, in gyrus precentralis and lobulus paracentralis. We start to draw tractus cortica spinalis lateralis. It passes through posterior crus of internal capsule, then in midbrain, it passes at the base of pedunculi cerebri, then in pons, in ventral part of pons, then this tract, we speak about cortica spinalis lateralis. In pyramids of medulla oblongata, it goes to opposite side, and it makes decussatio pyramidum. Very good. Decussatio pyramidum. And then it passes in lateral funiculus of spinal cord and finish in motor nuclei of anterior horn. And then through anterior root and spinal nerve goes to striated muscles. That is tractus cortico spinalis lateralis. That is first diagram. First neuron in brain cortex, that is gyrus precentralis lobulus paracentralis, decussatio pyramidum in medulla oblongata, pass through lateral funiculus and finish in motor nuclei, and then continues to striated muscles. First diagram. Second diagram, that is tractus cortica spinalis anterior. It is almost the same till medulla oblongata, and it is anterior tract, goes downward, pass through anterior funiculus, goes to opposite side through commissura alba, and finish the same in motor nuclei. That is all differences, that it pass in anterior funiculus, that is tractus cortica spinalis anterior, and it is decussation in commissura alba. All the other moments are the same. That is second diagram. It is two diagrams, cortica spinalis lateralis and cortica spinalis anterior. Next, that is tractus cortica nuclearis. Why it has so name? Cortica nuclearis. It starts the same from brain cortex, from gyrus precentralis and lobulus paracentralis, but it passes through knee of internal capsule and continues to what? Nuclei of cranial nerves, motor nuclei of cranial nerves. For example, do you remember in midbrain at the level of superior colliculus, we have motor nucleus near of cerebral aqueduct of which cranial nerve? Third. That is oculomotor nerve, nucleus motorius nervi oculomotori, third nerve. If we draw midbrain at the level of inferior colliculus, in this case near of aqueduct we have nucleus motorius of trochlear nerve, nervus trochlearis, that is fourth cranial nerve. Then in rhomboid fossa, if you remember, it is motor nucleus of fifth cranial nerve, nucleus motorius nervi trigemini. Then here it is motor nucleus of facial nerve with colliculus facialis. Do you remember? That is 7th. And inside of colliculus we have motor nucleus of 6th cranial nerve. That is 6 nervus abducens. Then here it is nucleus ambiguus. That is motor nucleus of 9th, 10th and 11th cranial nerve. And last motor nucleus, that is nervus hypoglossus. Yes, nucleus nervi hypoglossi in rhomboid fossa. Oh, the same we have in spinal cord. And what happened? This tract, tractus corticonuclearis, it supplies nucleus at the same side and on the opposite side. It is the same. It supplies this nucleus and this nucleus. If we compare with spinal tract, right hemisphere continues to left motor nucleus and supplies muscles on the left side, and left hemisphere it supplies right motor nuclei and right muscles. But in cranial nerve, most cranial nerve receive innervation from right and from left hemisphere, because this nuclei receive innervation from hemisphere on the same side and from opposite side. That is the same in 5th cranial nerve, but 7th cranial nerve receive impulses only from opposite side. 6th nerve from both sides. Nucleus ambiguus the same from both sides, and nervus hypoglossus only from opposite side, the same like facial nerve. Only 2 cranial nerves, facial and a hypoglossal nerve. Only these 2 nerves receive innervation only from opposite hemisphere. All another nerves from both hemisphere, from right and left. Clear it is? That is why if tumor, for example, tumor in right hemisphere, in this case facial nerve will not receive impulses on the opposite side, and muscles of the face, facial expression, will be paralyzed on the opposite side. And the same muscles of the tongue will paralyze, because tongue receive impulses only from one hemisphere. That is tractus corticonuclearis. All another descending tracts, they are extrapyramidal system. Extrapyramidal. Do you remember some tracts of extrapyramidal system? Rubrospinalis. First of all, that is rubrospinalis. Something else? Alliva spinalis, vestibular spinalis, tecta spinalis, reticular spinalis. Good. But we will speak only about rubrospinalis. You should know that extrapyramidal system include a lot of tracts. All tracts which you answer now, that is tracts of extrapyramidal system. But main tract, that is tractus rubrospinalis. It starts from red nucleus of midbrain, that is nucleus rubor, first neuron, and tractus rubrospinalis, that is number 1, that is tractus rubrospinalis. It makes decussation in midbrain, that is decussatio ventralis tegmentii. Good. And second neuron, that is for all descending tracts, second neuron, that is motor nucleus. It is in anterior horn and goes to muscles. And this diagram, the same we show communication between brain cortex and extrapyramidal system. That is internal capsule, here it is thalamus, here it is nucleus lentiformis, consists of putamen and globus pallidus. Between brain cortex and putamen we have tractus corticostrialis, that is number 3. Tractus corticostrialis. Between putamen and pallidum we have two-way connection, and then from pallidum start tractus pallidorubralis, number 4. Tractus pallidorubralis, that is communication between cortex and red nucleus. Cortex joined with striopallidar system, and striopallidar system joined with red nucleus. The same medial nuclei of thalamus, number 5, nuclei medialis thalami, that is part of extrapyramidal system, and substantia nigra, number 6, that is the same part of extrapyramidal system. And whole this diagram has name diagram of extrapyramidal system, and main tract of extrapyramidal system, that is tractus rubra spinalis. And last tract, that is descending tracts from cerebellum, that is cortex of cerebellum, first neuron. Second neuron, that is nucleus dentatus, the same in cerebellum. Do you remember this nucleus dentatus? From nucleus dentatus start tract which goes to midbrain through superior peduncles, that is tractus cerebella tegmentalis, and this tract passes through superior peduncles of cerebellum and goes to red nucleus. In this case, red nucleus, that is third neuron, because first neuron cortex of cerebellum, second neuron nucleus dentatus, and third neuron nucleus ruber. And from nucleus ruber start tractus rubra spinalis, and this tract finish in motor nuclei, and this motor nuclei for cerebellum, that is fourth neuron, and then goes to striated muscles. Number 1, that is tractus cerebella tegmentalis. Number 2, superior peduncles of cerebellum. Number 3, that is tractus rubra spinalis, and number 4, decussatio ventralis tegmentia. And now, whole name for all of this tract, that is tractus cerebella rubra spinalis. Cerebella rubra spinalis. It conducts involuntary motor impulses, the same like this one. Involuntary motor impulses. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 descending tracts next time.